Alright, so we covered this picture right here, whereas I believe it is a alien life form of the Sumerian Lord strain or the Kingship strain of Nibiru, inserting himself into the digital matrix-like technology that is the other side of the side that we see. We see the faces in the trees. In the faces, in the clouds, and the lawns, and all that shit. And ultimately what is happening here is that this person is taking his one eye and putting it into the eye of this machine right here, and then he is going to be having access to monitoration of his creation, or their creation, whatever. That's where I believe ultimately that the technology lies. I mean, it could be like a telecommunication system between each other, but that probably could do many various things. I mean, if you want to get crazy with it, and you want to go to like a Bible type text where is the part a C and stuff like that. I mean, if you're already moving matter to burn images into something, you're burning in images into trees and stuff. I suppose you probably could, if you concentrate enough energy on it, it could maybe be used to move matter in whatever way that you choose to fit for the matter to move, I suppose. But I didn't want to get to that crazy biblical level, whereas we're now tagging the only thing that we know of as being the thing for all. You know, I have a problem with that, because, you know, I finally, I realized that there was a dwarven race, and I started labeling the dwarven race as pretty much, the dwarves are a Gigi, and this is a Gigi, and that's dwarves, and this is all that. So, like, because I knew one thing was a fact, I started to put that one fact, because I have like a gumball wad mind, or I just have like, it's just, you know, and you have a huge gumball of spit it up gum or some shit, and then you just wad it all together, and then I'm not sure where this story is going, but you reflect everything off of what it is that you ultimately know. So like, you're knowledgeable about, like, so I'm talking all this stuff about whatever the fuck it is, and then someone's just gonna be like, no, that's nitrogen. I know nothing about nitrogen. Well, that's because you have a gumball wad mind, and you're just spitting out all the stuff that you know from your limited access to fact and stuff like that. So it's all about being careful too about what I'm labeling as what the thing is. But never mind all that. It's just a rant or a tangent that I just went on. But this right here is real. I'm 100% positive this is real. Like, you know, you have reports of people like, you know, I'm sitting in my room. I'm sitting in my room, man, and like this big gigantic purple eye just pops up and like winks at me and looks at me, and like, well, that big gigantic purple eye that winked at you or looked at you was 100% one of these three types of life forms. I mean, obviously the variations differ. They all don't look just like this and just like that and just like that, but it's 100% positive. Guaranteed in my mind. And I'm not really confident about many things in life. If I'm not gonna put it, if I go to the mall, and am I confident that I'm at least in the top 80 human beings in that place? I don't think so, but I'm confident that when that big eye pops up and it's looking at you, and this goes back to that angelic feel, whereas this is the only situation where like Joe Nobody is living his, you know, very bland gen pop life, doing bland things, nobody necessarily knows who he is, and then this shit is looking at him like, where do you get the free time to do that? I'm Joe Nobody, I'm sitting in my room, I'm smoking, yo man, what's up, fucking chilling, and all of a sudden this big ass eye pops out, and just like, How do you even know my name? How do you even know anything about me? Like, doesn't even make any sense. But like, the so the system, the net grid. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. It gets to an angelic level because of the fact that the more you concentrate on it, the more interactive it becomes. That face on your wall starts to like. I mean, that all depends on how crazy you get with it. Like almost like a tripping balls level. Like, let's all get fucked up on drugs and fuck around with aliens. You brought the deep dark woods of you tripping your balls off into your living room. Like, oh, did I take too much? And then like you're like, well, there's a rumor if you take like 7, you go insane. Like, oh fuck, I multiplied that by like about 100. Fuck. Oh fuck. I am in some fucking trouble. Here we have a bunch of pictures of dwarven beings all over the place. The one at the top right here, this one's my favorite. It kind of has like an Ewokian look to it, and I always am a smart ass or an idiot making jokes and shit. The guy's probably like, he's probably holding up a, like I come in contact with a digital dwarf, and he's like, hey, what's going on? And like as soon as he puts the phone down and when he exits his fucking matrix, he's like, what a fucking little bitch. What a little fucking asshole that kid is, Jesus. So these are depictions of the dwarven race all over the place. You can kind of see them within these little circles right here, but it's actually tough. I'm circling a shit. I'm circling something, and you're just like, okay, so where am I starting from? What the fuck did you just? Am I starting over here, then going in? It's like it's like giving an Arabian the letter E. Here's the letter E, just like right here, and like, where do I start? Do I start from the middle spoke or an Asian, whatever race you want to do? Am I starting like down here, and then we go up, and then we go, well, how are we doing this? If you don't know where the starting point of this little puzzle right here to get to the fucking image, then these circles don't mean dick. Like right here, this is the shoulder right here, and then there's his mouth, there's his nose. I'm not sure, I don't look it up because I'm not really thorough or professional, but someone on our planet is responsible for the invention of aviation and jets and helicopters and shit like that. Oh, well, we seen a bird and the bird was flying, and then lo and behold, we wanted to fly. I mean, that could have been what the case is, but that's not what Mars says. Mars says that there is a chopper right here. There's a jet right there. It's just tattooed into the valleys or the ravines or whatever the fuck that word is of Mars. You have a jet, you have a chopper, boom. It's incredibly clear. There's no argument there. There's my favorite dwarven image in there. He's got one eye, nose, mouth, and he's got that huge beard right in there. But he looks so jolly and happy there. It's just like it's a picture that I wish that this race is ultimately, if we ever had he could be jolly and happy because he just like just butchered fucking like whatever the fuck it is. He's Guvloff, the fucking bloodthirsty butcher. I have no idea, but like just like I always look at this, I'm like, wow, it's a really jolly being. Life shines bright for this one, and here's my terrible depiction of it. That's wonderful. That's just, it's like Da Vinci like or Picasso. But here is the map that I got it from. You can Google this one. You can Google all this shit. That's how I get all my alien high-tech information. I Googled it. Or YouTube it. There it is. Okay, so this is a map of Mars. If you Google map of Mars, I'm sure it's at one page this is going to pop up. And the jolly little dwarf is right there. You can see him right there on Mars. That my favorite dwarven picture, right there it is. He's right there, burnt into the rocks. Now, is that the same way as burning in a cloud formation? I'm not actually sure. I don't know if that's the case, because that would mean that they burnt all this stuff into rock with the net grid, the invisible alien net grid that surrounds us all. And that would mean that you're probably sitting always in a thing that could burn rock. I mean, that's just not like give off like very low frequencies and burn, you know, superficial images into skin and into hair and into, well, it could burn into trees and leaves. It has some type of ability to do that, but I'm this might be done by lasers and stuff. I'm not actually 100% positive. It could just be they just blanket the whole entire place with that digital canvas, and then they just go at it in their ships with a stylus and a three-dimensional like fuzz box. You know, the fuzz box. That'd be the like how old TVs used to have. They have a stylus to draw whatever the shit is they want to cut out into, and then a sphere or an orb will go out there and cut it or something like that. I have no idea, but there he is. He's right over there. I put a wonderful box there. Eye, nose, mouth, and the huge bushy beard. Yeah, so Mars has a chopper and a jet on there. Okay, so let's look at everybody knows this picture, obviously. You know, is this the bombing of Egypt or something? I have no idea. There's a plane flying over. There's something dropping off. That could be bombing Egypt. Jet, helicopter, Egypt, and a temple. It's like 4,000 years old or something like that. So the people back then were knowledgeable. I'm not sure if the actual citizens of Earth, the Earthlings, technically ran that type of technology. I highly doubt it, but they were familiar with seeing those. That was probably an occurrence that did happen. Alright, let's go to the moon. Oh, the moon. The billboard for, yes, the Anunnaki are real, and they are most definitely a reality.
And Columbia, Huntsville for Scott. If you haven't adjusted the 35 millimeter intervalometer yet, you could adjust that to 2 seconds. If you've already passed that step, that's no problem, and you can proceed.
Okay. We'll go to 2 seconds on the intervalometer. It's no problem. Just take a couple seconds to reset. And is sample 7 looks like a different material than the last one?
And Columbia for Scott, that should be the same type of material.
Okay, is it thicker, or is it, because it looks like it might be a little thicker?
No, it seems like it appears that way, but it should be the same thickness.
Okay, and we modified the thermocouples as you said, and we'll modify the camera settings, and it'll be a few more minutes before we're finished setting up.
Okay, copy that, Scott. That camera was something that they noticed in their last data run.
Okay, thanks.
Alright, so here we go. We got one eye there and one eye there. We got a long nose. Even though this guy's got a big nose, he's still probably one of the dwarvens. I don't know, I could just see the face, and I just think to myself, like, it's probably a dwarven being. See that bird right there, too? Oh, I cut that bird. You can barely see it. There's that bird up there. See, I mean, look at it. I mean, it's perfect artwork. There's eye in there. Nose. There's the cheekbone right there. There's a little bit of a fluffy mustache. There's his mouth. The mustache goes into beard. He's got this bird up there in his temple or his head. You always see birds in there. You spin it, and you see this face right here. Eye, nose, mouth. This face right here is so clear. There's his mouth. There's a side of the cheek. Right here is actually a dwarf. Looks like he's almost pinching this little tube right there. And there's his mouth. There's his eye. There's his nose. He's got the bushy hair. They all have beards. You rarely see a beardless any male. There it is again. Eye, nose, mouth. Boom, there it is. That's the face on the moon. See, pretty much a billboard for the presence of Anunnaki. Alright, there's this guy. And, you know, you go anywhere on the moon, anywhere on planet Earth. I can go to the most remotest location. I can go to the most mundane location. You're going to be plucking out these Francescos and shit like that. Is that the word that they use for wonderful artwork or something like that? I have no idea. But no matter where I go, it looks like the whole entire planet's been tattooed by visual images. So it's just like if you actually start seeing things with those type of angles, you actually start seeing that the whole entire planet looks like a used notebook. It's just faces all over the place, faces and doodles, and like, oh yeah, there's writing over here, and there's writing over here, and then there's a bunch of doodles and shit, and it looks like one big gigantic used notebook. Here is one of my favorite pictures, but I think I'm going to cut it, and I will pick it up next time.